Racing Team workshop. Here is where we design, build and test our Formula Student racing car. Formula Student is an engineering competition that challenges students to test their engineering knowledge and their hands-on skills. Like any project, we start with the planning of the year. We then move on to design using computer-aided softwares such as SolidWorks. From then, we take the full model and we build the car on our build table. Once the car is complete, we test the car before taking it to competition in July.
LJMU's introduction into Formula Student started in 2007 when our director, Professor Ian Jenkinson, asked a number of the staff, including me, to go down and have a look at the competition and what was involved. So we went down there, and to our amazement, in the test area was one of the top teams, and we were amazed by the quality of engineering on the car and the performance of the car. We then walked through all the pits and we began to worry, could we ever match the engineering on the cars that we're seeing? We came back and we set up a team, and in 2008 we entered Class 3. In 2009 we entered Class 2, which is concept and a part-built car. We won that competition. 2010 we entered our first Class 1 design build. On our third attempt in 2012 we actually beat that team that we saw back in 2007.
Yeah, this year we're building 14. We've made a couple of changes from 13. We've got a new design for a pedal box, got some new runners which are going to increase the power of the car, and we've got a new pneumatic shifting system which should help us to decrease the weight and solve some problems that we had last year.
So we have a goal of about 215 kilograms this year, and that's the biggest feature that we're going for this year, is to lose weight.
Through lectures and laboratory sessions we can give them all the academic knowledge. Formula Students give them the real hands-on practical knowledge to marry up with the academic knowledge they get in lectures.
So this year we've had a lot of driver training. We've been out testing at Aintree Racecourse quite a lot, which means we've been able to test our new systems, but predominantly get the drivers in the car.
Driver training is very important because the driver can only deliver lap times if they're completely confident in the car. Because driving any car at 90% is pretty straightforward, but to drive it at 98, 99, 100% is a lot more difficult, and even for a talented driver, you've got to give them the opportunity to build up to that limit.
2014 car's looking really good. I'm really excited about all the new features on it and getting it out on track and seeing what it can do.
Silverstone is going to be the first time I'm driving an event. I remember last year was really hard being in the pits, so I'll have to see what it's like driving, but it's definitely going to be a good competition. Same as Spain, I'm just a bit worried about the heat and how this driver suit's going to hold up.
I'm absolutely looking forward to the competition. You know, all the hard work all year is building up to that point, and it's a chance to get on track and see how we compare to other teams and whether all the hard work's been worth it.
One of the main rival teams is Liverpool Uni of Liverpool, so we're sort of close to them, so we like to compete with them. We'll have to see how they're doing, but it shouldn't be an issue.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming here to see what our year has been. Firstly, just a few thank yous. So obviously this wouldn't be possible without the sponsors, without the support we get from everyone. So there's quite a few sponsors here today: Camel Aids, National Instruments, and all these sponsors give us various things that all contribute to the car in different ways. So for example, testing venues, help with electrical systems, materials, programs, and just assistance in every single way, supporting us in our endeavour to produce the best car.
One of the things we've been asked by the Minister of Higher Education, or HEFKI, what we do to empower our students by the time they graduate. I hope you'll have a time today to look at what these super students done, the project they done in this car, the knowledge they gained, and so far every single student who graduated from this course, whether electrical, mechanical, whatever disciplines, they already found a job, and the feedback about them absolutely first class. So without further ado, I would like to unveil the car, and hopefully you'll have a good time during the day. Okay? Yeah.
Just the competitions are 5-6 days of the most intense work ever, because as I said, it's the culmination of your whole year. And if you don't put everything into that 5 days, then you've wasted the year.
The reason we're part of Formula Student is really because we're a test and measurement company, a control company, and we create tools that are used in industry. And a key part of our business is ensuring that students are aware of our tools before they go into industry. And part of that is teaching them in university what these tools are, so when they go into industry they're ready to use these.
We have been involved and supplied the equipment to do the gear change for you on the race car. We are looking to work closer together with John Moores University, Liverpool University, and in general more and more universities throughout the UK. And hopefully you guys will do well on the track.
It's something, it's so unique, like Formula Student, and it's something that like most people don't really get an opportunity to do. Like, we design and build and race a single-seat race car every year, and like totally in our own time. And I'm quite excited to be like the manager of that next year.
There's a lot of different things that we want to get out of working with students. So primarily we want to try and help students to develop their knowledge of carbon fibre. It's still very new. There's not a lot of carbon fibre knowledge within the university itself. So we'd like to work with them to help them.
If you see the F1 stuff on the TV, it all looks fabulous, glamorous, but you don't see an awful lot. You see a lot of cars whizzing around a little bit and nothing else really. So to have the chance to walk on the circuit, get into the pit boxes, seeing how the other teams work. When we went to Barcelona the first time, well, it was an absolute treat because John Moores University had Sebastian Vettel's old pit box. So it still had the marking on the floor. So the cameras are coming out. And again, you're behind the scenes. So get into the press box, going on the podium with your own little plastic cups, getting pictures up there. It just puts it more into a personal feel.
I've experienced and witnessed them basically input a tremendous amount of commitment to this project. Looking at them throughout the year, it's just such an amazing sight as an employer to see so many students come together voluntarily and actually donate so much personal effort.
We're really looking forward to Silverstone. We think we've made a good car and we're looking forward to getting it properly ran and competing with all the teams.
5 kilos.
My name is Fiona Pauley. I'm the project manager for the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, and I have the privilege of running the Formula Student programme. Formula Student has been running in the UK since '98. We are the oldest competition outside of America, and we are part of the World Council, which covers 15 championships of Formula Student across the world. Part of the competition is very key is cost, design and business presentations. So they have to justify the designs that they've done to judges who are from all over the engineering community.
Formula Student's been a passion of mine. I've been involved in it from really when it first came to the country in 1998. It to me is the ideal demonstration of working as an engineer in all its facets, be it planning, be it organising funding, sorting out teams, getting the resources in place, getting the regulators right, and then building and then finally demonstrating the car.
We've just gone into scrutineering now, and basically that's making sure that the car is safe. So the first thing we do is technical. That's like they sort of almost strip the car, make sure all the wires are safe. Every bolt has got 2 threads showing, everything's like tight, everything's like the firewall is all safe, so no fuel's going to splash. And basically it's just making sure the car's safe, and you can't go on to do any other event unless you pass scrutineering.
Yeah, it's going really well. We've just one minor issue with stickers, but it's superficial, very much superficial, so we'll sort that really easily. Everything else so far, touch wood, this is the hardest part of scrutineering because there's, as you know, the 5 aspects. Technical is definitely the hardest.
I'm head of the costing this year on the car, and also I'm one of the data engineers. What I've just done is given a 15-minute presentation to the costing judges, and they gave us a special costing task, and this year is 25,000 mass production steering wheels. They really actually like the floor plan and the shipping. Apparently no team they've seen so far, this is midway through the second day of statics, and no team they've seen so far has done either factory layout or shipping costs. So I think our attention to detail really has gone in our favour. The judges are great, there's lots of points that we could pick up for next year, lots of areas we could focus on, but they're also very positive. You definitely get the impression across that they want you to do well.
Then they get to do all of the fun stuff. So they get to do a straight line acceleration, which is a little bit like a drag race. They get to do a figure of 8, which tests different dynamics on the vehicle. They have a sprint race, which is 1 kilometre track, and then they have an endurance race where they get to do 22 laps of the 1 kilometre track, and that takes 2 drivers, and there's a driver changeover.
Very glad that we've got what we've got. We were looking like, with the troubles that we had, that we weren't going to get anything. Yeah. But we've got the sprint, and we've got the skid pan in, like the skin of our teeth with that one. There's people there who just haven't got on at all. So yeah, no, very happy with that. You know, points on the board, so happy with that.
Today was the final culmination of the work that we put into the car. We started the endurance event quite confidently, everything working perfectly. However, on the first lap, the car stopped.
We were in the dynamic area. I was one of the people in the dynamic area, so I wasn't actually sure what was going on. It started to rain, so I ran over to the guys on the outside and got the wets and looked over to the drivers, and one of the drivers said, "Riyad, it stopped." And I thought he meant the weather, as in the rain had stopped, so we wouldn't need the wet tyres, but he meant the car.
It was something that we weren't expecting at all. We were all waiting and watching for it to go out, and as soon as it went out, we knew there was a problem.
I think we'd done about 200 metres, got to the first or second corner, and that was it. It was game over for us.
We didn't know what the problem was at all until we got back to the pits, and it turns out that one of the parts that was supplied to us was faulty. So it was something that we couldn't foresee, but it was really hard on the team.
Everyone was really disappointed. There were fresh team members, as in first year team members, they were very disappointed. You could tell that they were taking it quite hard.
We'd kind of gone from having a team that remembered nothing but success, remembered nothing but finishing Formula Student endurance races, to one where maybe the collective memory was very few people there remembering finishing an endurance event, and I think that that's quite a tough place to be, really, because you go from knowing that it's possible because you've done it so many times to wondering whether it's possible because you've never experienced it.
I think at Silverstone this year we had a number of minor technical problems, and as you know, in F1 the smallest problem can alter the performance of any of the vehicles. What was good about Silverstone was how the team reacted to those problems. The way they worked together, they analysed what was wrong, and the plan they put together to fix those problems. It affected our overall result, but the way they worked together was absolutely fantastic.
Well, there's huge positives given how well really we've done throughout this week. One of the main, I think, positives was the ease with which we went through scrutineering. This is my 7th competition, and scrutineering has never been so easy. There were no problems with the car, basically. Straight through tech, straight through safety, straight through brake, straight through noise, and then straight through tilt. And that to me is the main positive. There are also lots of other positives, such as in the statics. So we've We won the special cost task with 96%, which is a huge figure that's generally unheard of.
In terms of experience and like if you want to go further on, even in the automotive or not even in the automotive world, you know, the people would kill to basically doing what's going on here.
I'm looking forward to Spain. There's going to be a tough few weeks between here and Spain now to get the car perfect, to find out any issues we've got and just constantly test, give the drivers more confidence and get all the setups done on the car.
Spain was ace. I'd not been to Spain before and I'd heard a lot about Spain, about how it was really, really fun. So I was really looking forward to Spain. Also, I got to drive to Spain in the vans and I got to go on the ferry and that was really fun. But when we got there, I was a little bit surprised. It was much more strict than I expected. There was scrutineering between every event. So if for some reason that you made changes after scrutineering, they were picked up on because they scrutineer between events, which I was quite surprised at.
So we've just been through scrutineering. We went through the technical inspection. We had a couple of issues where we had to tape up the body panels and we had to drill a hole in the carbon floor to allow any fluids to escape should there be a leak or anything like that. But apart from that, it went quite well. We've been through safety. We had a couple of issues with the seatbelt where the angle on the lower hips wasn't quite right, so we had to adjust the seatbelt straps. Apart from that, it was the brake pedal to allow for a template and make sure per seat fitting, and it was all well and good. Onto the egress section. Egress is where the driver has to get out of the car in less than 5 seconds to represent any dangers within the car, fires, everything like that. So all of us got out of the car, all of us passed the egress test nice and easy, and then we got the tyres checked and they're all okay, so we're all good to run, ready to go for the tilt test tomorrow.
Well, this morning we took the car to do the tilt test, which is the next part of scrutineering. The car was taken to 40 degrees, check no fluids were leaking out of the car. The car's then taken up to 60 degrees. That's just to make sure the car's not going to roll over. We passed that first time, so it went really well. We also weighed the car during that. The car weighed 225 kilograms. It was slightly heavier than Silverstone, but we have added things onto the car, so that was expected. Right, well, this afternoon we went to get the final 2 stickers for scrutineering. These were the noise and the brake test. We passed the noise test first time with a sound level of 7.2, 180 to the limit, so we were well under that. And then we did the brake test first time. Last year we took 13 attempts, so we made up with that, like, so.
So this morning we had the skid pad. This is my first time driving the skid pad event, which I hadn't been able to practice beforehand. We did quite well for the practice we had. We got a good time in the car. It's fairly competitive, but we'll find out how everyone else did later.
So at testing, we got a lot of smoke out the back of the engine and it was a bit of oil coming out of the rocker cover. It was just a couple of bolts that weren't gasketed. So we've put some gasket in and hopefully it won't happen again.
We'll see how it goes, but the car feels good, the engine's working well and the setup feels pretty good. So going into the sprint, pretty positive about it.
all the teams like pull together like as a family at competition. You see other teams doing it and we do it. When you have to stay late in pits to get the car ready for the next day, the event the next morning, other team members will still be back at camp cleaning and tidying and like making food for us and bringing it down. Like all of a sudden they'll come down with a dish of curry or like a platter of chicken or whatever, and that's quite nice. In Spain, again, we didn't finish the endurance event, but I was a lot less disappointed than I was in Silverstone. The weekend at Spain went really well. Like, we felt like a winning team. We were acting like a winning team. On the Sunday, we were all in the stands and we were watching the car go around, and it was amazing because we were overtaking cars as well. Cars were having to be pulled in so we could go past them, so it was looking really good. During the driver changeover, you couldn't really see what was going on, but the scrutineers came over to the car and they were pointing at the back of the car, and we found out later that basically we'd had our rear right brake caliper was leaking, so there was fluid on the wheel, fluid on the drive shaft, and that was it then, game over for us. But afterwards I didn't feel gutted because I thought that that wasn't really something we could foresee, it was just bad luck. We didn't deserve it. And I think that if we had finished the endurance event, then we'd have done really, really well. This year in Spain, we were looking at like top 10 finishes. We were top UK team overall, so that was great. But yeah, Spain as a whole was still really good, even though we had the disappointment. I don't remember Spain for the reasons we not finishing the endurance. I remember Spain for all of the, like how the team came together and how we did really well.
If I can hope one thing will come out of the 2014-15 season, it's that team that's been maturing and growing into what it is now will have the opportunity to understand that all of the hard work and so on, combined with the planning and the preparation, will result in results for them, that they will finish those events, and that the feeling when they do will be much better than the despair they felt when they didn't. That the high will be higher than the low was.
I'm really excited about next year's season. I'm team manager for 2014/15, so in a few weeks I'll be going back to university and starting my job and leading the team, which is very exciting. I've made quite good friends with the team now. I've been in the team 18 months and I'm really excited about this year. I don't know where we're going exactly. I know we're going to Formula Student UK as per, but I'm really excited to get a lot of new members in, pull in a lot more sponsorship and develop future cars.
We've got a core of a team that have been through 2 or 3 competitions, and with that experience and new members coming through, so long as we use the knowledge we've gained over previous years, and I really believe this year this will be our best car.